Hey guys, PrezKoumori here with another Magic the Gathering video. I'm going to be trying to do more of these. I know a lot of you are used to seeing Yu-Gi-Oh content, but this is my channel, I can do what I want, so I figured I'd go into Magic here. I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys my sealed deck that I used for my first high-level competitive event in Magic when I was in the Grand Prix in Madison, Wisconsin about 2 months ago, where I finished at a solid 5-3 record. I was about one match win short of making it to day 2. And I would have liked to have done better, but for my first competitive event for the game, I was actually pretty happy with it. Now, I know a lot of people are expecting to see more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but with me transitioning over to the game of Magic as of signing up for it 3 years ago, I had wanted to kind of challenge myself and ease into the game a little bit with some of the stuff I do on my channel too. So, before I go into doing that, I ended up running blue and white, taking advantage of flying and proliferating. I did not get a lot of good rares and mythics that came my way to fit the color scheme, but with what I got, I think I was able to make it work. So before I go into detail with this deck, be sure to bitch and whine in the comments section about episode 40 not being finished. No, I'm just kidding. I know not everybody does that, but, you know, it's a running meme with Tyler from Revelations and myself, so I kind of had to throw that in there. So I will zoom out of the playmat here, and we'll get started. First of all, for land cards, 8 islands, 7 plains, and a Gateway Plaza. Pay 1 to retain it, otherwise it sacrifices itself and it enters tapped, but you get to add a mana of any color. So that was basically my mana fixing for the event. Didn't necessarily need it for 2 colors here. Now for the creatures, I am just going to show off the bread and butter of what I had. This was the best card I got out of the set. This is God Eternal Kefnet, a 4/5 with flying. If I got an instant or sorcery for my draw, I can pay 2 colorless mana less to cast it, and it acts as a copy. So the card that I drew technically still goes in my hand, but I can play a copy of it. And if something were to happen to it, it comes back into my hand in about 3 turns, so can't go wrong with that. I actually ended up whiffing it. I didn't get anything for a while my first couple of times trying it, but still really nice. My one rare that I threw in was Fibulf the Lost. I don't know if you say his name right. When he enters, draw a card, so he replaces himself. And I was banking on not a lot of people using targeting stuff, because then he shuffles himself in, which is pretty shitty. But luckily that didn't happen. Alright, now I'll show you what I meant by the flyers here. I got 2 copies of Aven Eternal. It is a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, amass 1, so I get a zombie token. And, yeah, a lot more board presence here for myself. I always try to get into that. Takes advantage of both the flying and proliferate, I like that. More evasion here. We got 2 copies of Ashiok Skulker, 3/5. I can pay 4 mana. It can't be blocked this turn. It's actually come into a closer for me a couple of games too. If someone gets down to 4, 5, 6 life, that was the guy to finish it for me a couple times. Couple guys on the ground. Makeshift Battalion, 3/2. If I get at least 2 other creatures attacking, I get a +1/+1 counter on him. Maybe get into proliferate little, but it's a 3/2 for only 3 mana for a common. You know, it's more board presence in mind. Let's see, we also got Ujin's Conduit. Didn't need any particular mana for this. It comes in with X +1/+1 counters. Can take advantage of proliferating, and it came in handy with anything that had Death Touch during the event. Did not affect it whatsoever. Let's see, another flyer, Rescuer Sphinx. This is another thing that can get counters on it. A 3/2 with flying, get more evasion on the field. This one probably fit the scheme of my deck the best, actually, even though I only got the 1 copy. Elite Guard Mage. So this is board presence. It has flying. I gain some life and I draw a card. So this replaces my hand right away. Really like the bread and butter of that card. Another copy, Trusted Pegasus. I can give something else flying. This is a 2/2, another flyer for more evasion. Basically, I didn't let my opponents really play Magic during combat. A Grateful Apparition. When it deals damage to a player planeswalker, I can proliferate. There's a lot of stuff that goes in my deck around the board with that stuff. War Screecher. This is a 1/3 with flying. I didn't really get to use his effect all that often, but I thought more of this as a blocker. And this was kind of an interesting pick. I was a little hesitant to go with this one. Sunblade Angel. If I can proliferate this somehow or give it counters, it would have been fantastic. This thing has flying, first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. And for a 3/3, yeah, that's pretty good. Those are all the creatures that I got. Now we get to the sorceries, and I've only got about 3 of them. Relentless Advance, I can amass for 3. Take advantage of some proliferating. Tamio's Epiphany, I ended up running a bit of a slower deck, so I would rely on card economy sometimes. Scry 4, basically peeking at your top 4 cards, and draw 2 cards. And then Contingent's Plan, proliferate and draw a card, taking advantage of the board state a little bit and replacing my hand. I ended up running a lot of draw stuff just to hopefully get Kevnet or something. Instance, I got No Escape, basically my counter spell. I was expecting a lot of creatures and planeswalkers, which did come around. This card actually turned out to be pretty fantastic towards the stretch. Actually, I think it was round 5 and 6 that actually got me a couple of wins, just for that one. And Topple the Statue. Tap target permanent. If it's an artifact, destroy it, draw a card. I didn't really use it to destroy any artifacts. That was more to get opponents' blockers out of the way and hopefully close out the game. Now for the bread and butter of the War of the Sparks set. This was obviously all to promote standard here, but I ended up getting 4 planeswalkers that I can use. Luckily, got 2 copies of the Wanderer. Little story behind this. There was actually a girl named Veronica who was playing alongside me in the Mythic Championship qualifier that I took place in yesterday. And she was actually cosplaying as the Wanderer, and considering how this set was only released a week or 2 before the Grand Prix took place, I was super impressed actually. Like, head to toe, it was perfect. She even had the cap covering her face and everything. It was fantastic. But anyway, this exile target creature with power 4 or greater, I can proliferate that. And it's pretty good against anything running red. And what else did I got? Nahiri, this was to pop a lot of creatures, deal X damage to target tap creature. Stuff I control gains first strike, but I mostly threw this in for the popping. And last card of the set, I had Narset, Parter of Veils. I actually had a judge called on me for one of my games the previous day, because each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. I ended up fucking up with a finale card that lets me draw a couple cards, and judge called me up and said I wasn't able to do it, so the effect still had to stand. But anyway, -2, look at my top 4 cards, add a non-creature, non-land into my hand. This counts other planeswalkers, by the way, so this was mostly for more card economy. Anyway, you can see that a lot of this deals with direct combat damage and trying to drag it out a little bit, trying to eventually get enough damage out to destroy my opponent here. So that is the basic guideline of my deck here. Thanks for watching, guys. I will try to upload more videos in the future here, but with my hectic life, of course, there's no guarantees here. Let me know what you want to see in the future besides episode 40, of course. I'm working as hard as I can to make it happen, but I think it's going to be fantastic. I think you guys are really going to like this one. Anyway, I will see you guys later.